the entire rest of the establishment media will never tell the American people about the economic successes of the Trump administration. Please tell us what President Trump has done to get the economy going. And by the way, I think I saw Barack Obama trying to take credit for the Trump economy not too long ago. I don't think Barack Obama deserves any of the credit for it. Tell us why President Trump deserves credit for the amazing economy we've seen the last 3 years. What are some of the things that he's done on this front?
Well, let's take a step back. When he was running for president, we were informed by the left and many never-Trumpers that if he was elected, the stock market would crash, we'd have massive unemployment, the economy would crash, and that none of his policies made any sense. He would start trade wars that were unwinnable and not be able to rebalance American trade. None of that has played out. As a matter of fact, we've got tremendous job growth in this country, record unemployment for African Americans, Hispanic Americans, disabled Americans, fantastic job growth for veterans. We've got more job openings than we have people looking for work. We've created almost 7 million jobs. We've got about a 3.4% unemployment rate right now. And wage growth at the bottom is far outpacing earnings growth at the top in this country. So you have a blue-collar boom in this country, and the president's winning on trade, which the left said he couldn't do, and again, many never-Trumpers said he couldn't do. So across the board, this is a Trump economy, a Trump blue-collar boom, and it's a great opportunity to work in this administration for this president, and a tremendous amount of fun.
Yeah, so now one of the things that the Trump economy has been known for is that it's been a rising tide that raises all boats, and by that I mean in particular blue collar workers are particularly succeeding on this front. This is a big deal, and part of that is the renegotiated trade deal, like the trade deals like the USMCA, other trade deals that the president's led the way on. But in addition to that, a lot of other policies that the president's pursued that have really been focused on those blue-collar workers, those people, the forgotten man, the people that the politicians here in the Washington, D.C. area, I know we're not technically in D.C. right now, we're a little bit of a reprieve from D.C. We're in the shadow of the swamp. We're not in the actual swamp. But those politicians have forgotten all about those people and the working class union guys, so on and so forth. President Trump's focused on those people.
He's absolutely focused on them, and I see that in personal conversations with him, private conversations with him. He loves blue-collar workers. He loves talking with blue-collar workers. He loves talking with people who have technical skills, who work with their hands. I've been around him as he's interacted with people when he's on the road, and in private meetings in the Oval Office with his senior advisors when he's talking about various economic policies. He always comes back to what is going to be the effect on blue-collar workers, what is going to be the effect on job creation for the average American. It's not how's this going to benefit the wealthy. And at a time when you see people like without naming names, people running for president saying anybody can be a farmer, it's easy to do, people who have worked in manufacturing need to learn how to code, things like that, arrogant, typical left-wing views about working-class people. It's great to see a president that's standing up for blue-collar workers, average Americans, and it's always front and center in everything he's doing on economic policy.
So now another thing I want to talk to you about too is in particular some of the healthcare initiatives on the administration side of things. If you listen to the Democrats tell it, they're like, oh, the Democrats own the healthcare issue, the Republicans own. There's a lot of things that you guys have done that don't get out there, that don't get talked about in the establishment media, because again, they don't want to give President Trump any credit for a lot of the successes that he's had. Tell us about some of the things you guys have done on healthcare to try to help protect people's healthcare, lower premiums, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, I think it's important to recognize too, the president inherited a tremendous mess in healthcare when he came into the White House. Premiums had skyrocketed during the Obama years. All of the promises of Obamacare were failed. We said we'd have universal coverage. We said you'd be able to keep your doctor. They said that costs would come down. None of that, which the Obama administration and Nancy Pelosi promised, came true. We still have 30 million people that don't have coverage. Many people lost their doctors. And what the president began to focus on is, let's confront all the problems that previous administrations have ignored. So if you look at, for instance, the president's made mental health a huge initiative. This is something that had not been touched since the 1960s, and we've got a big budget proposal in there. How about veterans' health, which had been a disaster when he came in? Huge waiting lines, indifferent Veterans Affairs employees. He fired 8,000 veterans employees. He passed VA mission to try and get veterans more options outside of the VA, and that has been a tremendous success. There's the popularity, the satisfaction rate among veterans in that healthcare system has climbed exponentially since he's been in office. And then for average Americans, it's been initiative after initiative after initiative, forcing FDA, hey, you've got to approve more generic drugs so we can get costs down, and we've got record generic approvals. Saying to people, listen, we don't have enough, we're not doing a good job on kidney health, for example, which hadn't been touched since the Nixon administration. Do that. Why is it that people are getting surprised with medical bills 6 months after they go into the hospital? We need to work on getting more transparency, signing an executive order on that. Opening up short-term limited duration plans, association health plans, and oh, by the way, eliminating a ton of Obamacare taxes. The individual mandate, gone. The Democrats said that health care would collapse if you eliminated that. Not true. Wiping out the health insurers tax, which raised costs of several $100s for American people. Medical device tax, gone. Cadillac tax, which a lot of, again, blue-collar workers were opposed to because they fight so hard for these medical benefits. So on and on and on and on, this president takes on hard issues that takes, many instances, some of these regulations, a year or 2 years. We've got one coming out this month on electronic health records that'll be coming. Hopefully we'll get that done. That has been screwed up from before Obama. Obama made it infinitely worse and spent almost $40 billion on electronic health records. It didn't improve care, and we've been working on that for 3 years, and hopefully that's close to the finish line. So it is a tremendous amount of work that the D.C. media doesn't pay any attention to.
No attention at all. Another thing they don't pay attention to is what President Trump's been doing on education. This was a big part of his State of the Union address. He brought in that young girl who got an opportunity to go to a charter school. Can you tell us about some of the things that President Trump's done on education policy? Because I think that's another big area that is important to people out there across the country because it affects their everyday lives, affects where their kids go to school.
Sure. So first of all, on higher education, he's made religious freedom and free speech a huge issue, telling universities, listen, if you're going to take all these federal grant dollars, you need to protect the religious beliefs of people that and young people who go to your campuses and stop discriminating against people on your campuses. He's done that on the for elementary schools as well in pushing out rules on that front. We've had instances where young people who've wanted to pray, for instance, in cafeterias and take a moment to pray for classmates and things like that, have been told you can't do that around anybody else. You need to take that somewhere else. And on school choice, which is a big issue for this president, he recognizes a couple things. One, there are plenty of schools in this country that are failing, and their parents and young people want to escape those schools to build a better life. We have to shake up the establishment. We have to take on the education establishment, and that's why he's proposed allowing state-run foundations to be set up with federal tax credits that people would donate to. So it's not diverting federal tax dollars from education or state tax dollars from education. This would be entirely private money to diffuse that entire argument that the left has used for years about, oh, you're moving money out of public schools and giving it to private schools. That's not what we're doing. The president's figured out a creative way to push the school choice debate. So let's make the teachers' unions oppose us on that. There's no there's no diversion of money. This is be new money for new choices, and parents and young people should have as many choices as possible to pursue their dreams.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Joe Grogan from the White House, what in the last minute we got left here, make the case for us. The theme here at CPAC this year is America versus socialism. We know one side of that is the Democrat side, is the socialist. The other side is President Trump, and you guys, the White House, the America side. Make the case for us against socialism.
Well, look, it's great working for a president that first and foremost is always thinking about America and American workers. He's not saying, gee, wouldn't it be great if we were run by global bureaucrats trying to redistribute wealth and sacrificing American sovereignty. He's always fighting for America and for American workers. He believes in the American idea, which was mocked by the previous administration. He believes in American exceptionalism. And let's have this fight with the left on socialism versus America. I love a stark fight, and this is exactly the president who can win it. And if we win big, we can crush socialism for 40 or 50 years.